Hey everybody, welcome to the Silks auction live stream. I'm handing it off to your host Squid.
What's up? What's up? We have Chuck here and also Ben. Super excited to get these reveals going and see what's going to be going up to auction on Tuesday. What's up, boys? How are we doing?
What's up, Squid?
How's it going? Excited to see what we get.
All right, Matt, are we ready to start these things off?
Yep.
Start off hot this time.
Here we go.
All right, should be one more.
Last transaction here. I love the screen as always.
Here we go, Goldie Straw.
There it is. Here we go.
Yo.
Like that chestnut. Collected.
What do we got here? Chuck, what's usually the first thing you're looking at right away when you get into this?
Well, I think the first thing you look at is the sire, see who the horse is by. Obviously, that's a big factor. The second thing, obviously, you would look at the dam, and this filly has a really nice pedigree. She's a half sister to. Actually, she's a 3/4 sister to Majestic City. If you notice, the collected is by City Zip, and her sister Majestic City is by City Zip. So she's not by City Zip, but she's by a son of City Zip, which makes her a 3/4 sister, which is a little weird, but that's just how it's what it's called. But Majestic City was a good colt. Won a lot of races, won a lot of money, made almost $600,000. Won 5 races, graded races all over the country, including the Hollywood Juvenile Championship, which I believe used to be held in May or June of the 2-year-old year. Excuse me. So this was a horse that got to the races early, and you would think that perhaps this filly is also one that maybe will get to the races early, and she's got a really good solid pedigree. You go down to the second dam, and there's some good stakes quality in her dam. Not so pleasant, who's by Pleasant Tap, and the third dam has got some really good horses. When you go to down to the bottom of her pedigree page, she is out of a half sister to Golden Pheasant, who was really a top horse, one of the best horses in the world. Matter of fact, I think he won the Japan Cup among others. So he was a really, really good horse. Siwilo was a really good New York stake horse. So there's a lot of pedigree. There's a lot of quality in this filly's pedigree.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to see this one up because we could head on to the next one, Matt. gonna pop open the pedigree page here.
Never seen that name before. Let's see.
I guess Chuck Lowe was the first thing that pops out on this page to you.
Well, this was a colt who is a Florida bred. So it's a regional horse. But he's by Kozan, who's a young sire who's had a lot of winners in Florida. He's done really well. He's at 4 crops of racing age, and that includes this year. And that's, obviously there's no 2-year-olds that are running yet, but that counts as of racing age. So he's had 11 black type winners, 11 stake winners, which is a lot for a young stallion. He's been a pretty good stallion for the regional market, and this mare, who's also by Meadow Lake, the dam of the collected filly, she was also by Meadow Lake. Meadow Lake was an undefeated horse who ran 3 times back in the 90s, and has been a pretty good broodmare sire. So it's good to see his name in the pedigrees. This filly's got some quality in her pedigree as well. A lot of stake horses in the second dam, and they're all big track stake horses. You'll see El Brujo was a graded winner at Del Mar. The horse Gaudriel was a graded winner or a stakes winner at Woodbine. Concave was a Del Mar winner. So these are this is a solid pedigree, and the horse is a Florida bred, and as such is eligible for a series of stakes in Florida, the Florida Sire Stakes, which are really big money races that start in late August, early September. There's a series of 3 of them, and I think the final is 400,000. Those are for only Florida sired horses, so not just Florida breds, but Florida sired. So Kozan is he gets winners. So interesting horse.
Yeah, to mix it up with the Florida bred. This is not a bad one to do that with. And we'll move on to the next.
American Pharaoh.
Would you look at that? It seems like that
You can take it from here, Chuck.
American Pharaoh has been around this block before.
Well, he's it's funny. It a lot of times Triple Crown winners, when they go to stud, it's almost felt like they're a disappointment because they don't necessarily produce themselves. And if you think about the fact that there's only been like 13 Triple Crown winners in 150 years or 130 years or whatever of horse racing, it's it's kind of a tough thing to replicate. But American Pharaoh has been a good solid sire. He's had a lot of winners, and interestingly enough, he's had a lot of turf winners, a lot of turf horses. And considering he never raced on the turf because of obviously he was winning the Breeders' Cup Classic and the Triple Crown events, which are all on the dirt, but he's had a lot of success as a turf sire. And this filly is out of a mare who has some dirt sires. Most of those races are dirt races in Chile, but she is a Grade 1 winner, and she has produced a Grade 1 horse. So this filly here is a half sister to La Potisa, who was champion 3-year-old filly in Chile. So that's a good feather in the cap. And as you see, there's stakes quality in the second dam and the third dam, and it's a solid pedigree by a horse that's getting a lot of warners. And this one was a $200,000 purchase, so obviously she fits the bill and looks the part as well.
Yeah, definitely interested to see what this one goes for in the auction. We'll go on to the next one. Wow, look at this.
Oh, baby.
And Chuck, you can take it away.
Well, there's a Curlin filly. Obviously, Curlin is a great sire. He's not just a good sire; he's a great sire. It was just announced the other day that one of the Latrushka, who's one of the top fillies and mares of the last couple of years racing wise, she was actually champion filly or champion older mare in 2021. She's been retired and she's going to go to Curlin, which was kind of interesting news. And he's just a top sire. He gets really good horses. And this filly is the first foal out of a Warfront mare named Win the War, who was a Canadian horse who actually had a little bit of racing time out west, and Santa Anita was third in the San Ynez grade too. But she's a stakes winner. She's by Warfront. She has a really solid pedigree. It's interesting too to see the speed on the dam side here. Win the Wars by Warfront. Warfront was a sprinter, though he's gotten horses that can get a little bit further. And he's, interestingly enough, he was another horse that raced exclusively on the dirt. It's been a great turf sire. The second dam is by Carson City, who was a very, very good dirt sprinter, and was also a very, very good sire of sprinters. So the stamina is on the sire side with Curlin. There's a lot of speed on the dam side. This is a really, really cool filly.
Yeah. Excited about this one too. We'll see if this luck keeps on running here. We'll go to the next.
Golden Sense.
New York bred.
Sir. Another filly.
What are you seeing here, John?
Golden Sense is a really good stallion too. He's a very, very solid stallion. He had the winner of the Jerome last week. I can't think of the horse's name. I bet on the horse and he won, and I can't think of his name. But he did win us the $150,000 stakes last week. He's more of a miler, middle distance type horse, but he's done very, very well. You look at his the horses he produces. They're runners. He gets good horses. They win a lot of money. They get to the races. So this filly is by a good sire. Again, it's a very young dam, Snow, who's by Quality Road, who really didn't do much at the races. Only was placed at 3, didn't make much money, but that doesn't mean anything in her ability to produce good horses, because there's been so many horses that were top horses. California Chrome was one who was, Kentucky Derby winner, top of the line, quality horse for a couple of years. He was by his dam couldn't outrun Squid. She was literally that, nothing against Squid, but Squid only has 2 legs. But there's a ton of pedigree in this horses, a ton of winners. You look at Quindici Man, who ran at the lower level tracks for the most part, but he also had 7 wins and made $500,000. He ran all over the place. He won at Zia Park, Fresno, Fairplex, Turf Paradise, Hollywood, Ruidoso, Santa Anita. So it's not like he carried his track around with him. And if you go down to the second dam, there's a lot of really good horses in there. The Rose Park produced Wild Rush, who won the Met Mile. He was a top horse for Frank Stronach. I think Pat Byrne was the trainer of him. So there's a lot here for a New York bred. This is one of the better bred New York breds you're going to see. And again, speed on the dam side. Sire is a really strong miler. This is a really nice prospect, and she's got a chance to make a lot of money in New York.
Yeah, this is definitely one not to sleep on.
Always dreaming.
Always dreaming.
Let's see if you can get anything off this, Chuck.
Well, Always Dreaming is still a new sire. He's he got off to a little bit of a slow start, but Always Dreaming didn't even make his debut until he was 3. And he got good really quick, and he wound up winning the Kentucky Derby. I think he debuted just about this time of the year. So it was a rapid ascension for him. And I would expect his foals to be much better at 3 and 4 than they were at 2. This dam here is I mean, this colt is a half to Ribbonite, who's a solid New York horse. It's a New York bred pedigree through and through. He's the second dam Stuntman. He's got a lot of New York bred wins and stake wins. He's made $400,000. So there's plenty of pedigree here. It's just probably going to be a later developing horse, and it's probably going to be, mostly racing in New York bred program at Saratoga Aqueduct and Belmont.
We'll head on to the next one.
Okay. Cairo Prince.
Well, this one's a gray. That changes things up a little bit. Everybody loves a gray horse, right?
Yeah.
Cairo Prince is, kind of like we talked about earlier. I don't think ever raced on the turf, but he's been a very, very good turf sire. His horses move up a lot on the turf. You see some of his top earners, Royal Charlotte, especially that is a turf runner. And he's a very, very solid turf sire. Because he's not been great on the dirt, his horses tend to bring probably a little bit less at auction than you would see from horses that have a better probability of siring a Triple Crown type horses, because obviously that's the main focus for people at the top of the game. Everybody wants to win the Kentucky Derby and the Breeders' Cup Classic and that, but turf racing is huge in this country. It's getting bigger, and a horse that can sire really good turf horses is important. This particular colt, he's out of a lightly raced dam, Dottie Spirit, who made one start and won, and then was retired. Obviously, something happened. She's by Curlin, so there's a lot of stamina on the dam side. The third and fourth dams are really strong. The fourth dam, obviously, you're going back a little bit far, but November Snow, who was one of the best fillies and mares of the 90s. I mean, she was a horse that won the test at Saratoga going 7 furlongs, and 2 weeks later, she won the Alabama at Saratoga going 1.25 miles, which is pretty much unthinkable. But this colt does have a lot of back class in her pedigree, and who knows? Dottie Spirit, like I said, she was 1 for 1, so perhaps unfortunate injury sidelined her, and she was going to be a lot better horse that went on and won stake races. She just never got the opportunity. So this is a really solid horse who's got a nice pedigree. Who wasn't a big sale price horse, but could certainly be a good race horse.
Yeah, definitely gonna look more into this one here.
Take a moment
Oh,
to see it go
yeah.
for a run.
Yeah, a little bit.
Looks awesome.
Everybody loves a gray horse, man.
My one is very treasured. Street Boss.
This is a filly by Street Boss, and Street Boss was just he was one of the first horses that did a lot of shuttle stallion work, meaning he stood in the northern hemisphere during our breeding season, and he went to Australia during the the summertime, which is their breeding season. So Street Boss still he got a lot of mares. He got a lot of action. I think he's 17 now. Yeah, well, 19 actually. He's 2004 full. So he was just not retired, but he's no longer coming north. So he's going to stay in Australia and be a stallion there. But he has had a ton of good horses, and he doesn't really throw a particular type, meaning that he gets 2-year-olds, he gets older horses, he gets fillies, he gets colts, he gets sprinters, he gets horses that go longer. They run on the grass, some of them, and he's just a really, really solid sire. This horse is a Virginia bred, and she is, which is important because Colonial Downs, which is the racetrack in Virginia, was purchased by Churchill Downs this past summer with the intention of expanding their meet to 50 racing days, which will probably take place over about 3 months. So they'll be racing pretty much all summer. And Virginia breds run for a lot of money, and there's a lot of restricted Virginia bred stake races. And this is the type of horse that you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of opportunities for a filly like this. She has a good, solid pedigree. You see lots of stake winners in it. You see mostly European stake winners in the second dam, and with Virginia being a really turf-centric track, I think about 75-80% of their races are on the turf. So this filly is going to get a really good opportunity to be a stakes winner, not only just a winner, but a stakes winner in Virginia bred company in the coming years. So I think that's a really kind of a cool aspect when you get these horses that are bred in these regional markets, in that they have their own separate set of stake races that they can shoot for. And I think there was 100 Virginia bred foals the last year that they, not 2022, the year before. I think there was 100 foals, which means 50 fillies. So she's only going to have to compete against 50 other horses for that. And it sounds like a lot, but when you think about a Kentucky bred, they've got to compete against thousands of horses. Where a Virginia bred, there's only 50 horses. Maybe 25% of them won't even ever make a race. So you keep narrowing that number down. She might have to be the best of 25 horses to win all the Virginia bred stakes. So, I mean, this is the type of horse that I think is really represents a value play, and being Virginia bred is a big plus in my eyes.
Oh man, not this time. I know there's a lot of people in the audience that are going to be interested in seeing this one. So take it away, Chuck.
Yeah, well, not this time has been he was a horse that had a very brief racing career, but he's turned out to be a really terrific sire. Obviously, Epicenter, who I think is going to wind up being champion 3-year-old from last year, based upon what I've seen from people that vote on the Eclipse Awards on social media. He seems to have more votes than anyone else. So there's a big chance that Not This Time is going to have sired a champion, which is not something that happens very often for a stallion that only has a couple crops on the ground. But he's proven to be a really good sire. He's got a couple really interesting Derby prospects this year. So I mean, he's he's solid. That's for sure. This colt is out of a mare that was kind of a hard knocker. She won 15 races, and you got to be pretty good to win 15 races, even if it's at a lower level. 15 wins is a lot. And she has produced a stake horse, and it's Engaging Lee, who won 4 stake races, and they're at Churchill Downs, the Locust Grove and the La Trienne. She was third at Gulfstream Park, so she raced at the top of the game. So obviously, this colt, there's some there's some talent in the genes, and Not This Time is can get you any kind of horse. So really interesting horse.
I know this one's gonna definitely have some eyes on it, as we move forward. So, super excited. I'm excited to see this one posted on OpenSea for sure. Oh, another one. Audible.
Why couldn't this be my reveal?
Seriously. All right, Chuck.
Well, Audible, his babies were very, very popular. He was far above. You like to see if your stud fee is, say, 25,000. I think he was 25,000. You like to see the yearlings average about 100 and above that, because this way, if you breed to him and then you add up all the expenses and of the mare and raising the foal, you like to be profitable. And this horse, I think, was a $250,000 yearling. So this horse is very, very profitable for the breeder. And we don't know what Audible is going to be as a sire, obviously, because he hasn't had any runners. His first 2-year-olds are coming this year. But there's, it's like unwrapping a gift at Christmas. You don't know what you're going to get, but you might get something really good. And Audible's Buy Into Mischief, who's been the general sire, the leading sire, the top sire. We talk about all these, Not This Time, and Curlin, and Gun Runner, who did great. But Into Mischief has been number one on the list for 4 consecutive years. And that is not something that happens very often. So Audible is Buy Into Mischief. Into Mischief it seems like he's going to be a good sire of sires. And I'd be real bullish on these Audibles, and there's no reason to think that they can't be runners. And this particular filly, her dam was a decent horse. She made 275,000. She won 6 races. She was stakes placed a couple times. She hasn't had a lot of other foals. I mean, she's only 11 herself, but they're both winners. So she's got two made it to the races, both won races, and that's always important too. But Audible, he's a horse that could become maybe one of the next real top sires.
I think that rounded us up.
Very nice, good group.
Yeah, very excited. Thanks so much, Chuck, for joining us. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll have the auction catalog posted for everybody tomorrow, and throughout the week on Tuesday and Friday, we'll be discussing these horses more in depth with Chuck and Troy on our Let's Talk Horses Twitter Spaces. So, super excited for that, and the auctions will launch on Tuesday. So
Yeah, definitely some big hitters in this group. So
I'm excited.
Sounds great. Yeah, it's a nice group of horses. There's several good angles that you can take with with this whole group, and I mean, every one of them seems like they have something to to be excited about.
all right, until next time, let's get ready for the auctions here.
All right, guys.
See you on the next one.